Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about in-depth strategy for the challenge and also how to join us in the challenge for as little as $9 a month, information and details are in the description below. In the previous video we did an important update on ticker symbol BBIG, Vinco Ventures, looking at some important dates and also analysis of trading strategy in terms of how the best way to deal with the trades in BBIG were carried out, especially in the Discord. In today's video we're going to be looking at an important update for ticker symbol MULN Mullen Automotive and also an important update for ticker symbol MMAT, especially with regard to short squeeze. So before we do that, let's have a look at the latest market news. So we're going to start by looking at the bad news. On the screen here we can see again the in terms of the S&P 500, this is down now approximately 20% on the year. So we are now officially entering a bear market. So obviously the Nasdaq is down quite considerably. The Dow Jones is also down, and we can see here on the headline that the Fed is obviously going to be looking at tightening the situation with regard to inflation and potentially looking at using interest rates again to control spending. So in terms of the big question which many people will be asking is when are we going to hit the bottom, and is the worst time over now? So I'd like to give a shout out now to Will Mead on Twitter. So one of the things he's pointed out is looking at the key data from the point of view of the S&P 500, and what he said here in terms of historically the peak to trough drawdown of the S&P during a recession is 24%. Right now we're at 20% from the peak. So he thinks possibly one more dump till we hit bottom. I think we possibly could go down 22 to 25%. So we could possibly go below the 24%. However, obviously that is subject to inflation, and I think that's also subject to international conditions in what's going on across the world. I think we are in unprecedented times. We've had a number of big influences on the market, from COVID-19 to the Ukraine situation and also to obviously inflation as well. Let's now have a look at some more important updates for ticker symbol MMAT, Meta Materials. So first thing we're going to do is give a shout out to Ortix on Twitter. So on the screen here we can see an important statement from them, and what they tweeted here on May the 20th 2022. They said, here's an example from another case we are working on, and it's inquiries received regarding MMAT from investors who believe that the free float seems too low. So upon review we've agreed and launched an investigation suspecting that there was some double counting occurring. So there is a follow-on tweet at the bottom, and they've stated here at the bottom, as we dug deeper in our analysis we noted that a recent amended 10K included these disclosures for large shareholders Thomas Welch and Anne Lambert, who were married. So I think what that is indicating there is that it was potentially some duplication there in the counting. Let's now have a look at a response from George. So George has acknowledged the tweet from Ortex, and he has thanked them for being proactive and also said much appreciated. But let's now have a look at why this is important, especially for stocks like MMAT, and how it could potentially affect short selling activity. So on the screen here we're going to look at why an accurate count of the free float is very, very important. So on the screen here we can see in terms of one of the considerations of a free float, this directly relates to short selling. So one consequence of the short selling is that the trading activity increases liquidity. A share that was previously held as a long-term investment is now being loaned out and traded. So a share that's borrowed and sold short was likely purchased by a long investor. So that share has now got two long owners and one short seller. So obviously we have duplication there, and that still nets out to one issued share outstanding. So we have one share, but obviously there is a perceivement here that there are two owners. So for the purpose of the issue's capital structure, so this is looking like there are more shares artificially being traded in the market, which is making it possible for short interest to exceed 100% of the free float in some cases. So we have seen a number of other stocks being recorded, especially on Ortex, as a free float in excess of 100%, which is obviously not possible. So some of the peers attempt to factor in this activity to make adjustments to the free float accordingly, but basically a free float in excess of 100% is potentially going to indicate and obviously, you know, a short squeeze coming, so it could give false indications there, especially if it is false information with regard to double counting. Let's have a look at something also very interesting with regard to ticker symbol MMAT. I'm sure many of you who have invested in the stock will be aware that the market, although the market has been struggling recently, we have had some very positive news with regard to the stock for metamaterials. It has had a number of green days, but what I'd like to now focus on is the short squeeze score from Fintel. In terms of the latest data on the screen, you can see here the MMAT is now recorded as having a short squeeze score of 2 out of 5,412 stocks with a score of 97.36. So it's also been now added onto the gamma squeeze score. So it's got a gamma squeeze score here of 88.07 and 273 out of 504 stocks. So a gamma squeeze score here is something that is basically highlighting companies which have the highest risk of experiencing a gamma squeeze, and the higher number indicates a higher risk of a short squeeze relative to its peers, with 50 being the average, but obviously here we have an average well in excess of 50. So potentially good news, but remember, in terms of the short squeeze scores, there is no guarantee of a short squeeze, and there is also no guarantee of when this short squeeze will happen, but certainly it's looking very, very interesting. I'd like to now provide an important update for ticker symbol MULN Mullen Automotive. So those who've been following the channel will know that this is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel. So for important due diligence and detailed information with regard to background of the company and the key catalysts, you can refer back to the previous videos. But one of the things I'd like to provide an update here is from the company website. There is has been a positive announcement, so let's have a look at this here. And we can see on the screen here from the investor relations page that Mullen has announced the hiring of Richard Curtis to President of International Operations. So the key thing that appeals to me there is the term international operations. So that indicates that Mullen is obviously looking at going outside of the UK. So that's certainly good for market share growth and future potential and opportunities. So Curtis here is going to oversee all international operations for Mullen Automotive with a focus on existing company partnerships and new business opportunities for Mullen's line of electric vehicles. So remember, Mullen Automotive is a Nasdaq trading penny stock. So in terms of this appointment, this is great news, and we can see here in terms of a quotation, Richard has tremendous experience through Asia, so we're potentially looking at possibility of China there, and it will be key to expanding our presence there and beyond. And that's a statement from the CEO of Mullen Automotive. So Richard has got 35 years experience in the automotive industry, working with large dealer groups, especially across the global environment, and this is going to certainly be a central factor in growing the EV business around the world. So the key presence, remember, for Mullen Automotive is across 19 cities in the United States. So that's the key focus, but this is good news for international expansion and growth. Another interesting thing I'd like to share with you here is a latest update from Fintel with regard to institutional ownership. So you'll be able to see on the screen here from Fintel for the period 16th of May 2022 all the way to 17th of May 2022. We can see on the screen here lots of significant green. So the green indicates more increase in holdings from institutional investments. So very good news here from the green point of view. So we will look at some of these additional institutions buying into Mullen Automotive. We have Millennium Management, we also have Shea Capital, we have Just Invest, Wolverine Trading, we have Cubis Systematic, and more recently we also have Atom Investors and also Jane Street Group LLC. So very positive news here for institutional investors. And if we have a look at the chart, on the chart from Fintel, we can see the period January 2022 all the way to May 2022. So the line there is indicating the share price. So obviously with it being a penny stock, we can see the share price has started in excess of $3. Then it went to around about 70 cents just prior to March 2022. Then it went up again in excess of $3. And then just after the period March 2022, it's come down below $1.40. Right now it's just trading above $1. But the interesting thing I want to share with you here is the green on the right, and that is we have in excess of 7,500 shares increased from an institutional ownership point of view. So certainly a strong indication in confidence in the stock, especially for the long term. Let's now finish off by having a look at the one-day chart for ticker symbol MULN, close of play on the Friday. So we can see here the stock did do exceptionally well. It has closed up well in excess of $1, closing at $1.10. So it was also up in excess of 7.8% on the day. So great news here in terms of positive momentum. So going forward, I do expect this to be still extremely volatile, but once the catalysts come out, I think we are certainly seeing, hopefully, fingers crossed, of movement back well in excess of $3. Finally, if anybody would like to come into our Discord to share discussions live in terms of trading and also due diligence for stocks, as well as information with regard to new stocks that we look at, these are also shared exclusively in the Discord every Sunday through our weekly watch list. So you can get access to that for as little as $9 a month. That will also give you access to the challenge as well. So details are available in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.